everyone. Welcome to Marianne's Mystic Mentions. I'm Marianne. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm doing Mars readings. I'm actually going to start with Pisces. It's normally Aries through Pisces, but you know what, Pisces? This is an homage to all Pisceans out there. And I mean, it is packed full of Piscean energy as far as March is concerned, and some others, of course. But, well, as an example, just so you know, for all Piscean placements, it doesn't matter what placement, whether it's Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, Neptune, which also happen to be in Pisces right now, they're all relative, they all have meaning, and they all affect us in some way. So I'm going to say that... Well, we'll start with the basics, okay? It is sun season. Happy birthday to every single Piscean out there. And I'm Marianne. I am a longtime tarot intuitive reader, and I'm also more of a channeler, I say these days, because I literally get more and more downloads, whether it's when I'm awake, in my sleep, when I'm thinking about you, while I'm meditating, and they're coming easily, and I feel with the only reason being to express to you the information in a way that makes you feel happy and joyful and uplifted, knowing that we're always a vessel to be able to be spoken to. You know, our higher power, our spirit guides, our animal guides, I should say, and our animals, quite frankly. They're there all the time. They're giving us messages, and sometimes we can take them in and we hear them. And even myself, of course, or anybody that's psychically, connected, which in fact we really all are, there are times I'm not hearing it quite as clearly. Well, that's not the case now. So going back to you, Pisces, the North Node is in your sign, Pisces. It will be in your sign for the next 18 months. This is huge and powerful and very much about you, okay, and your destiny. And pretty much everything about you. You know, your transformations are going to be very, very obvious and evident. And I think they're going to be phenomenal and beautiful. And that's the other thing I want to say right off the bat before I forget, because I digress. The messages come through. I'm filled with information, and I'm wanting to, segregate it and make it as clear as possible for everybody watching. But the idea is that we have... the North Nodes, which are the North and South Nodes, and they represent the eclipses. And so we are now entering into an eclipse season as well in March of 2025. We have already felt the effects, whether we know it or not. And the effects after these eclipses can be upwards of a year, for anywhere from 6 months to a year. It's about the lessons we need to learn, the transformations I've just spoken of. I'm already dabbling myself. I have a Pisces rising, so that's my placement that I think is important for me. But either way, everybody on this planet is going to be infused with your beautiful, insightful, certainly imaginative, creative, very spiritual, loving, giving, empathic. I mean, the list goes on. There's so much that I can say about you, Pisces. You're the 12th sign, and you represent all of us. Like, you've been there, done that. You're a mutable sign, and that means you're very adaptable and you're flexible, and you don't really have boundaries to speak of. Like, that's not something that's synonymous with Pisces. But stay tuned, okay, Pisces, because there are going to be some very prominent once-in-a-lifetime changes from Pisces to Aries that are also happening this year and even in March. And then it goes back into your sign. So there's the dichotomy and the polar opposition of the borderless, open, just completely flexible, going with the flow, I'll be more than happy to give you the shirt off my back. What can I do for you energy? And then there's Aries, which is also extremely dynamic and very, very fiery and passionate and aggressive and confident, and more about my situation, what I need, what I want, and what I will create, right? And so that's great for you. That happens in your second house. The second house has to do with money. It has to do with value. It has to do with our mouths, what we put in our mouths, our bodies, how we value ourselves, and many more aspects of that. So that's going to be the kind of the duality that's going to be happening for a few months and then onward as well with the Pisces and Aries energies. So stay tuned for that. But North Node is in your sign. The sun is in your sign. Like I said, happy birthday. And your sun season will last. It started on the 18th and it will last through the 20th of March. Started on the 18th of February. And then we have the moon going into your sign with your new moon. We get one of those a year. New moon in Pisces on the 27th. I'm recording this on the 24th, and I'm hoping to be able to get all of the readings out in a timely manner, but if I'm late, I apologize. I'm going to do the best I can in between work, but I'm feeling positive. I'm just going to think that way. I'm going to shorten these a little bit as well for that reason. And then also we have, I'm not finished, we have, as I mentioned, Neptune is in your sign. It will go into Aries later in the month, and it will also, and Saturn will go in, is in your sign, but will go into Aries and then come back into yours. This Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde both do the very same thing. They start in Aries and then go backward into Pisces in the Mercury retrograde aspect. And then also Venus starts on the 1st of March. And that starts in Aries as well, and then goes back into Venus once again. I think the last week in March, which is the last week of the Venus retrograde. So I hope I haven't completely confused and had everybody leaving at this point. Stick with me. Lots to be said, mainly predominance is in Pisces, okay? So this is something that you're going to feel, Pisces, and you're going to probably notice that this month will be something that will be one that you'll remember in the books. Like, it will not be like any other year. Yes, we've always had the season happening at this time with you. Yes, we've had a lot of the planets similar, but not to this extent. So this speaks volumes. And with all of the energies I've mentioned, which represent Pisces, this is it can be such a phenomenally beautiful, wonderful time, even with changes, right? People are like, oh, change. I know, I too have felt that way. I do. Instantly, I'm like, oh, because I like to make the changes. I have that control aspect to myself. I admit it fully. But throughout my life, I've had them more than most people I know. And most of the time, I've instigated them. So this is something I think you're very much in favor of, Pisces. I think you've been thinking about this for a long time, dreaming. I think the messages have come through your dreams. And I think it's been really a long time coming. And I think you're going to be extremely happy with the changes. And I mean, it could be anything from relationships to work situations, to moving, to traveling, to retiring, to, I don't know, new ideas in many aspects, because you are incredibly, like I said, creative, and you have that ability, and you really sense things, and you're very prophetic and psychic, as I said. So I think you have a lot of this already, maybe even if you aren't aware, it's in the psyche and it's being presented to you. So take notes. Do write a dream log if you feel so inclined. I think it's always a great idea. I hope you like my little new format. It made sense to me. I thought, wait a minute. You don't see my face anymore. That was from my other time as, Marianne's Mystic Mansion. Still person, of course. Still as interested in and deeply involved in this as possible. But I'm going to start with your reading, as I will with all readings. And I'm going to check the chakra check that Spirit wants you to know about for the month of March. The chakras are, for those that are not aware, the energy centers that reside through our entire body. All the different areas to help energize and create this, momentum and I want to say the best possible balance in our life and strength and all the good stuff, okay? When those are feeling strong and balanced, it's the best thing for our bodies, our minds, and our soul holistically. If they're a little bit blocked or they're feeling stifled or, in any way, it's always good to just to take a moment, focus on that particular chakra area, and then just do a little mantra, just do a little prayer saying, I wish to have this open and be receptive to the energies that are going to help me to strengthen this area to the best of my ability so that I may be the best person I can possibly be. And that's the whole objective for all of this that I speak about. And to let you know that a lot of what we speak of is what becomes our reality. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to put this under the table here and just shuffle them a little bit. And then on each of these cards, there's a beautiful mantra, I like to call it, as to how you can keep that particular chakra open and vital and strong and, full of the energies necessary to utilize it to the best of your abilities. And you have the throat chakra. Wow, what a beautiful color as well. I'm wearing, in honor of you, I knew right away to wear the purple. Purple is definitely amethyst. It's one of my favorites, and it's one of the most healing crystals. It also protects us. It helps us to, upgrade or glow up in our abilities for psychic ability, and healing comes to mind as well, very much so. But what I love, and the colors that I feel represent a lot of Pisceans, are the colors of the ocean and the teals and the parts that surround our inner third eye, our crown, and the eighth chakra, which is the omnipotent, where we're all connected in consciousness, and we're all in this together, and there's infinite possibilities in our lives, always has been, always will be. So I like this a lot because it speaks of speaking, such as I am doing, and how I really always ask ahead of time to please have the most clear and concise messages for each sign for their highest good, and trust that is exactly what will come through. So let me read to you what it says for this particular fifth chakra, which is once again the throat chakra. 5 is about change, by the way, in numerology. That is the number of change. And it says, the uniqueness of my voice is spirit made manifest. I courageously speak my truth with balance and grace. As Lord Buddha said, neither jagged criticism nor flowery praise will keep me from my path. I hold to my wisdom with humble elegance. And I see that in you so very much, Pisceans. I find that although I know so many Pisces that are so kind and so compassionate and giving, and they're selfless. They just want to do, and sometimes to a fault, I will say, they want to just sacrifice things for others, for the sake of others. However, I've also known so many that are incredibly strong and incredibly capable and are very much in jobs and entrepreneurial endeavors and businesses that are successful, and their intelligence is unmatched. And so that's something I have to say as well. But just know that when you speak, it matters. You are always enough, and speak with the clarity and the self-confidence that you so very much deserve to express yourself. Okay, so I love that for you. Now, in addition to that, I like to mention the crown, or excuse me, I saw the crown. I like to mention the specific crystal that goes well with this particular chakra. And for this, it is the actual lapis lazuli. It says, I gently speak my truth and release all fears around judgment. And the main proper words for this throat is truth, purpose, and voice. And I hope you can see that, okay? That's another reason why I wanted to arrange this. I thought it made more sense. It's right there. And I love that. But, always ever learning, right? And evolving. I've dropped the necklace. But what I do is I take the actual crystal that came with this beautiful little gift set that I got. For those that have watched me and are coming back, I love and appreciate you very, very much for supporting me. If you like anything that you're hearing and you're resonating, please like and subscribe. It is completely free, and it supports this channel so that I may grow and continue to evolve in my life and doing what I love and hopefully helping you in a positive light. So in this little bag over here are the remainder of the crystals specifically for the chakras. And so the blue lapis is one of the most beautiful ones. And once again, it represents the throat. Now remember, colors have energy like everything. And the colors that we wear, sometimes you can feel, it makes you just feel amazingly good if it's your favorite color. Other colors I've worn and I think I'm not at all comfortable in this. I really have those. I love most colors, but there are still some that just do not resonate with me. So maybe you can relate to that. But this blue lapis will be put around my neck and it will be helping us infuse the reading. And hopefully I too will be able to express myself in a positive way that will guide you and yet be humble and with elegance. So here we go. Now, for the actual layout today, I've done the Celtic Cross quite a bit. I did the collective reading for all signs, and I started that for Mondays. And if you haven't seen that, please do take a look at that as well. I love the information that Spirit came through. I find it to be, I felt like I was very moved and appreciative of the messages coming through. I hope you will find that as well. And so I'm going to do a 6-card layout today. And what that's going to be is it's going to be for the past, present, and future, or the recent past coming prior to this reading. And then I'm also going to do a clarification card for that. I am using this beautiful cat deck that I love very, very much. I love the colors as well. But I did get this shortly after I adopted my cat, Eclipse, who's right over there. You may see him once in a while in the background. He is my love and my light, and he's very psychic and in tune, and he's turning 5. I did adopt him during COVID, and he's just the best cat in the world. Sorry, everybody. No competition. No, you know, we all feel that way about our animals, and I definitely, truly do. He amazes me. He understands everything, and I know you know what I'm talking about, but I won't belabor this, other than to say I love this deck. And I've seen a few other readers use it as well. So we'll lay out the cards, I'll explain, and I'll show them as I go along, you know, what the messages are for you for the month of March 2025. I did mention to you the most important things I think that I like to mention are the lunar aspects of each month, which are the moon positions. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that, you know, we are starting, I think I did earlier, but we are starting, for those just watching, welcome, thank you for stopping in. We're starting the eclipse seasons. Now, they happen every 6 months, and they change signs every 18 months. So we're now North Node in Pisces, South Node in Virgo, and the very first Virgo eclipse is happening on the 13th of March, and it could be the 14th, depending on where you're located. This is huge, and the lunar eclipses are the moon. They represent the moon, and it is when the sun is exactly opposite of the moon. And so in certain areas, we wouldn't be able to see the actual eclipse aspect of the moon. It depends on where you're located. You can look that up, but you can definitely see it online afterwards. And it's pretty special. And like I said, the power of it is like 10 full moons. And you generally have that energy of electricity around it and before it and after. And, you know, I feel things are brewing, absolutely. And especially if you're sensitive, which I think most of you are. And as far as Virgo goes, the traits of Virgo, the opposition of the Piscean. Now, as I have my little chart here, you'll see every time there are eclipses, they're always in pairs with the 2, and they're always the polar oppositions, excuse me. And so, as I mentioned, it's going to be Pisces, which is right there, the 2 fish, you know, Simon, and the duality is there, the mutable aspect. And then the Virgo, right across, right there. So there's always this energy between them. They're kind of polar, but they actually really complement each other. I've seen many relationships as I study the compatibility between signs. Still to come, a series on that, because it's been my passion since I was 12. I started studying that. But that's kind of a fun thing to bring back, and I think I shall. But yes, so future thinking, you know, optimism, Jupiter ruled Pisces. I didn't mention that. Just, you know, believing, sensing, achieving, manifesting. Oh my gosh, you know, and like I said, imaginative, just spiritual, other realms kind of thing, you know, just knowing and just being aware. The Pisces is in the 12th house. That's our subconscious. It's through dreams. It's through so many things. And Virgo is the grounded earth energy, you know, water and earth. They need each other desperately, you know, in order to plant a plant, you have the earth, and that's great. But without the water in the soil, nothing would grow. So there you have that important synergy that must occur, right? And it's natural, and it's just the laws of the universe. So Virgo and the South Node is about releasing. And what I find interesting about that specifically this year is we are in Chinese New Year. It is the year of the snake, and that is about shedding skin like snakes do. I know, because my son had a ball python for 5 years, and it would do that, every month, I think? And you never touched it, you never wanted to bother it, but it needed to do that in order to replenish and rejuvenate and start anew, basically that transformation. So that's what this year represents. It is a 9 year, which is a year of completions, so that you can start anew and afresh. So many correlations, not a coincidence. And so the Virgo, yes, the Virgo is healing. It is definitely, you know, being grounded and being structured. It's about, you know, nature. It's about natural ways of going about doing things. It's about planning and being ready is the words that are coming. I mean, that's not a huge word or anything, but for some reason it's just being prepared, I guess is the better word for that, in the planning stages. But also releasing the parts that might be a little extra critical. Okay, because I know that's another aspect of a Virgo, is this self-criticism, this self-talk. You know, are you being kind to yourself? Are you being overcritical of others? You know, are you ready to let that go? Are you ready to get rid of things that no longer matter in your life and that you still see around your home, and purging and releasing in that form? This is going to be very strong themes, and I've already heard it from a lot of my clients anyway. It's just... it is what it is, and I know you probably understand, but you're going to recognize that more in the next 18 months, Pisces. Okay, so now let's go on with the reading, and this is, the first is the recent past, and this card is the Knight of Wands. So there's a fiery energy, and you know what? I didn't mention this. Oh my goodness. The wands are the fire energies that represent the Leos, the Aries. Well, I should say it in order. Aries, which is next month. That is when we leave Pisces season. It becomes Aries season. It is the last eclipse in Aries I was about to get to on the 29th. That's huge. It's about our confidence. It actually starts the astrology for the new year. And that's what has always been known, that the beginning of the year starts in March, when spring becomes the spring equinox, which is what the Aries sign, being the first sign, ushers in. Okay, it is the beginning, it is new, it is bold, it is here I am, you know. I mean, you can't not bring in that season. That's a big responsibility, and it's considered a cardinal sign because of that. There are 4 cardinal signs that usher in each season. So that's pretty prevalent, and that makes sense. The wands also are the fact that Mars, the ruler of Aries, had been retrograde for over 2 months, and I can't imagine, I have not spoken to anybody business-wise, personal-wise, and that was not affected. Now, that doesn't happen every year. It happens every couple of years, just like the, Venus retrograde being extended for the length of time it is. That only happens every couple of years too, all for the reason to help us to reassess, revalue, revisit, relax. I mean, anything with all right? It's not about pushing forward, but it gives us time while the energies are slowing down, and there's definitely some hesitation, and there's changes, and there's a lot of flexibility required. It's letting you know that, well, for example, when Mars went direct, and that happened only yesterday, I already feel it in my body, and it will build itself up slowly because, it's been in retrograde for a while, so it's kind of sleepy, but there's a shadow period, they call it, before and after, where it takes some time to get to that, and it takes some time to get out of it and back into the momentum that it was. But boy, when it's fire and it's Mars, it's happening. So prepare for things to start moving forward, even with retrogrades. Okay, that's the beauty of it. So that happened as well. That makes perfect sense. The night are the messengers in the zodiac. So this is the fast moving, exciting, like new news, new adventure. Now, you might have already gotten wind of this. You probably have some ideas as a Pisces because, as I said, you know a lot of stuff. And I don't even know that you know how you know so much, but you just do. And you've been intuitively getting messages, and you're definitely going to be helping all of us to stay tuned and be very in tune with our own intuition during this time. So I'm excited about that. That's a beautiful start. And it shows me that that's what has just taken place in the recent past. So it's right in tune and in sync and synchronistic with the reading. So the present energy for all of you is the 5 of Wands. Okay, we've got another wand. So there's the 5, there's the changes, there's competition. Now that's happening all the time in our lives, right? It's nothing to be worried about. I find a lot of times for myself and in this present moment, it's about internal competition, competing with yourself. Like, I know I can do this. I know I want to do that. I know that other people are doing that. Doesn't really influence me. This Aries is going to give you some confidence like you have never known before. Going back to a lot of the other planets, Saturn's been in your planet for some time now, actually since 2023. I think it was March of 2023. So we're approaching, that it's usually about 2.5 years, and we're approaching that this year. And then by 2026, it'll be out completely and into Aries. And so this is the end. But Saturn is the taskmaster, as they call it. And people are like, oh, Saturn, restrictive. And Saturn really wants to help us. Let us put that perspective. And that's another thing about Piscean energy. It's a different perspective. The Hanged Man, it represents as one of the tarot cards for you, Pisces. And that's a person upside down in the tree of life and feeling very, very protective and very loved. There's this huge glowing, halo around the person hanging there. And it's just letting you know there's guidance, there's information, and you're all about it. You're like, yeah. And I don't feel rushed. I don't need to, because there will be hesitations with retrogrades. There always are. Ironically, with the Mercury retrograde, that's happening later in March. I think it starts on the 15th. And it's going to go through, I think, the 8th or 9th or something of March. Don't quote me, but it's about 3 weeks generally. Well, that there's never been a time that I've been fully aware of the Mercury retrogrades in the last 10 years, that just before it happens and during it, that there's some kind of road work going on. It's like a little detour. It's nothing serious, but it's like, oh, okay, I got to rethink that for, the next 3 weeks. It may take a little time off your route, so you've got to consider all these things. That sort of thing happens, right? And it's like clockwork. Let me know, and please write me if that's happening with you. I think it's amazing and funny at the same time. There's nothing wrong with a little good, good competition. It's everywhere, right? And these are wands. They're not knives. They're not dangerous. They're just like, okay, hold my position. I'm ready. I'm doing my part, and actually working with people is another indicator of this beautiful energy. So then we go to the future and what's happening through the month. And you have the 3 of Cups. And that makes I got a little bit of goosebumps, and it made me emotionally happy, because that's what you will be feeling, Pisces, with all this energy in and about you in March and through April, and then onward for the next 18 months with the North Node. And, you know, joyously celebrating. You love being happy. You love making others happy. And you're going to be getting that yourself. 3 is a great number. It's a number of growth. It's a number of prosperity. It's a number of working together. You know, you can be great as an entrepreneurial person. I know this, and I mentioned it earlier, but I see there's going to be a lot of growth in working with others. And just friendships and celebrations and things coming through that these eclipses are going to bring in that you may not even see, even you, Pisces. And it's going to be a phenomenally beautiful, beautiful transformation, okay? So know that, and let's just go down one more time and just do a new clarification on it. The Knight of Wands, the messenger, right? Something coming through. I think it has to do with work. I think it has to do with the action that has not been happening, and work is always financial. You know, sometimes with the Venus retrograde, which Venus is the benevolent planet. It is the planet of love. It rules Libra and Taurus. It has to do with beauty. It has to do with magic. It has to do with relationships, absolutely. And it has to do with money and, you know, resources and things coming your way. So when you hear retrograde, please don't think that means that's not happening. It may mean to double check and make sure you're not overspending, because that can be an impulsive thing, I believe. I believe that's when a lot of us kind of want to spend more, but we have to just sit for a moment and say, if you've got it, by all means, enjoy 3 of Cups, right? You're probably treating everyone else, to be honest. But it's exalted in Pisces. And we had Venus in your sign for a while until the 4th of February, when it then went into Aries, which is your second house. So I'm feeling really positive for you. Everything here is perfectly good. The 5 is about, you know, holding your own and getting that, you know, the juice is flowing because you feel like, yeah, I got this. I've got new ideas. And then, my goodness, so the Knight of Wands, it's fire and it's passion, and you have the Lovers as a confirmation. Okay, so yeah, Lovers is the perfect selection. And yes, it has to do with love. And yes, it has to do with romance. So you may be taking the next step. You may be deciding to have that child. You may be deciding to move in or buy property with that special person, or you've not met them yet. And it's coming down the way if you're single and you're interested. Otherwise, of course, it doesn't apply to you. But the Lovers is a perfect selection in relationships and partnerships for work, for friendships, for heaven's sakes. You know, I mean, friendships, I think they're incredibly valuable, you know, and even if it's 2 or 3 very, very close, reliable and caring, you know, compassionate people in your life that are there for you and supportive, that's all that matters. So, but I'm sure you have far more, Pisces. But that's absolutely beautiful. So that's kind of leaning in, going from the past into this month. And then with the present, like I said, in the competition, your confirmation, oh my goodness. Oh, okay. You have the Wheel of Fortune, and both of these are major arcana. So that's the spirit world saying, this is important. Take heed, okay? Wheel of Fortune is a beautiful, beautiful energy. It's the time, and the tables are turning. You know, it's always about time, and Saturn does enter into this, which happens to be in your sign. And if things were rough, and if things were stuck, and if things were not financially or, you know, relationship-wise working, look for a far better change in trajectory there. And know that if it's the competition, it could have to do with games of chance. Now, and I'm not advocating that by any means. All of this is entertainment. Take it as you will. And it is general. There are a lot of Pisceans out there, but trust me when I tell you, this has your favoritism written all over it. And that happens during a birthday season anyway. Your solar return. Write out that list in your new moon happening on the 27th, please. I'm sure you've already been doing it, but this is for any other, you know, viewers watching that are, you know, maybe just watching because you're in love with Piscean or something. Just all of us can benefit when we write intentions on the new moon for what we want to have occur. And then lastly, for your future with the Three of Cups, your confirmation is the Page of Pentacles. Wow. Well, that's our earth energy. That's the Virgo energy. That's our health. That's our, our earthly needs and desires and our sustenance, and it's money. It's food. It's everything, and the page is the beginning. It's a new idea. It's a youthful energy. It could be a child. Maybe you're about to have a child. Maybe you're thinking of having a child. Maybe you're inviting a new furry, beautiful friend into your home to adopt. And all of these are worthy. And I think it makes a lot of sense with the celebratory Three of Cups. Something really special and magical that's going to change your world. And it could be just your beautiful, youthful, spirited self coming through and laughing more and lightening up, because there's heavy energies that have been around, and things felt sluggish. And even as a Piscean, with myself, a Pisces rising, and I wake up every day thinking this is the best day ever, right? And man, some things come along, you don't see them coming. You didn't ask for them as far as we know, right? But it's all for our highest good. And after the fact, we think, yeah, I get it. I see why that happened. Either way, this is really, really beautiful for you. So I like it a lot. And I'm thinking to myself as I continue to evolve and do the best I can for you on this channel, perhaps even this direction next time, huh? Facing you that way. But either way, I did hold it up, and I hope that helped you. I'm going to finish with an oracle message from the Wisdom of the Oracle. I call it Baron Reed. What a beautiful deck this is. It's simple, it's sweet, and this message is just to kind of culminate this reading. And I hope you feel a very true sense of just like dreams beyond your wildest imaginations, and imagining that and writing those vision boards and creating this like you do so very well, Pisces. For the month of March, when you try to do that, there's just no way. That's a little preview of the shadowy aspect of Mercury retrograde and how it will definitely affect your speech and communication, definitely technology, definitely transportation. Like I said, sometimes delays and things like that, or your car. I mean, it's happened to me, but not every time. Just prepare for it. Be patient. Be flexible. And know that there's little magic nuggets sometimes when things change in your schedule, like it does with me sometimes. And then you get to do things, or people come in from the past and you haven't seen them, and you get the chance to have a lunch because one of your clients rescheduled, and you're like, darn, but oh, great. Thank you. So anyway, just a quick little last minute message. Actually, I have two. I'm not going to lie. This one is from, like I said, the Wisdom of the Oracle, and it is happy. So 26, which is the 8, that is the number of abundance and prosperity. And I don't really think I need to say more. It's the Wheel of Fortune, the Lovers and Three of Knights. There's nothing here whatsoever that doesn't reek and just, exude the best possible outcomes, okay? And you were largely influential in this happening. So congratulations to you on that. And then the last is because I know how much love means to you, and it does to me as well. Love is the all encompassing and important energy and reason for life, right? It starts life, and it's so important. And this is the mastery of love. So I'm going to pick just a card at random here for you, and I'm going to read to you what it says. And it says, I'm going to pull in here. I don't have to look. It's purple. What the heck? Be truthful with yourself. Look at the cat. How funny, right? I think there's something about animals too. Absolutely. I know I heard that from another astrologist, but there will be more possibilities to inherit or, adopt, or just be even more in tune than you may be already with animals. I know I just love animals, and they matter so much. They're so much a part of our world. When you are truthful with yourself, you start to see everything as it is, not the way you want it to see it. The wounds in your emotional body are covered by the denial system. When you look at your wounds with the eyes of truth, you can finally heal those wounds. I love that, and I take that very, very personally in a way, because I like to see things differently just because it makes me feel happier. But the truth is really the most important, and in doing that in itself, it creates a better foundation and world for you as well, because you're not denying or you're not kidding yourself, right? So that's a beautiful end to a beautiful reading and a beautiful month ahead, okay? Retrogrades or not, it's time for you, my dear Pisceans, and I appreciate you. Do like, subscribe, and share if you feel so inclined. I greatly appreciate it. Take beautiful care of yourselves. Until next time, bye-bye.